Here are the 14 worst purchases a barber can make in their 20s. Here's the worst purchase number 1, designer clothes. Now, like any barber, I wanted to get into designer clothes just to up my style. What ended up happening was I would spend $2K on a pair of jeans that I would really never wear. And the majority of the time, they were just collecting dust. I would go through cycles like this because I thought I always had to have the newest and best thing, until I realized, like, look, it's good to buy like nice pieces, but you probably shouldn't go looking to redesign your whole wardrobe with like designer shit. Now, to be honest, designer clothes are like a very big waste of money because the trends are always moving in fashion year in and year out. And honestly, what's hot today is probably not going to be hot next year. Now, look, if you're like me and you just want to improve your style, you can simply just go to Zara and get everything you need from there. It's clean, cost efficient, and it's always up to date with the latest fashion trends. And it's still a place that I go to shop to this day. Now, the next worst purchase to make in your 20s is going to be a house prematurely. Now, there are a lot of barbers who actually value owning a house, since a lot of barbers honestly never grew up in a house that their family had ever owned. And again, because this is a big goal, a lot of barbers tend to jump the gun and commit way too early on a mortgage they can't really make. And look, I say prematurely because of this one reason. Barbers should learn how to push their business to the max level, making 15, 20K per month first, in my opinion, before they make those moves. Now, for me personally, I would rather have the freedom to roam and go as I please without a mortgage holding me down. But if you really value owning a house in your 20s, why not double or triple your business prior to making that investment? That way, you can live comfortably and not have to worry about paying the mortgage every single month. Now, you'll always have time to buy a house. There is no rush or timetable on this. Get yourself and your business in a position first where it actually makes sense to make that investment, and it won't be a burden or a bill that you're stressing to make month in and month out like most barbers are. Again, because they do this prematurely. Now, the next worst purchase is going to be along the same lines, which is an apartment prematurely. Now, when I was 19, I moved out of my parents' house while I was in barber school because I was about to become a full-time barber and actually start making some money. A year later, I moved back in my parents' house because that shit was honestly a flop. Over those 12 months, I could barely keep up on rent, and it got so bad there were even times where I couldn't even buy myself a meal off the dollar menu. Trust me when I say this, stay home and stack cash for as long as you fucking can. I know, like any young barber, you want that independence, but coming back home to live with my parents after that year taught me so much. First, I highly underestimated how much money it took just to move out. Second, I overestimated what I thought I would be making my first year cutting hair. And third, I found out that just trying to wing it in the real world is never going to work out as a good plan. After that, I lived with my mom for about 4 to 5 years, and honestly, I just stacked my money up until I was ready to move out again. The next worst purchase a barber can make in their 20s is going to be eating out every single fucking day. Now, when you have money coming in as a barber every single day, an easy $20 meal doesn't seem like much. And plus, it's so much easier just to eat out rather than like make the food yourself. Once you factor in a $20 meal 3 times a day, over 30 days, you'll end up spending about $1,800, if not more, every single month just on food. Like seriously, just buy in bulk and meal prep the damn thing. Because you're running a business for financial gain, not to just cover your bills and eat out every single day. Here's how simple this can be. Go to Costco, spend about $500 to $800 just on food for the month. Get your chicken, steak, rice, potato, veggies, all the good stuff. Then every week, all you have to do is prep and cook that week's worth of meals. You're going to save about $1,000 every single month. You're going to eat a lot healthier and you're actually going to look a lot better as well too. Because ultimately, being lazy and eating out every single day is costing about $1,000, if not more, every single month of your hard-earned cash. Now, the next worst purchase is a video game system. One of the biggest assets as a business owner is your time, because we only have so many hours during the day we can give to growing the business. Based off that, in order to grow the business more, we need to remove waste or anything that does not help build the business long-term. Basically, remove all the short-term gratification bullshit. Now, don't get me wrong, video games are fun, but succeeding and growing yourself in this game of life is even better. When you look back at your life 40 years from now, what are you going to be more proud of? Your NBA 2K player that you got to a 99 overall, or pushing your first business as a barber to its limit, making 20K a month that then catapulted you into your next multi-7-figure per year business? So the next worst purchase a barber can make in their 20s is kids. Now, of course, you don't buy kids, but they do become a liability on your finances once you have the fuckers. And I see so many barbers who are having kids without having any sort of financial foundation and are thinking somehow This shit's gonna be and work out okay. Eventually, they find themselves in the hamster wheel of barbering. They're struggling month after month, trying to keep up with bills, and they really just don't even have a life. Obviously, I'm not telling you to never have kids. It's your own personal choice, but just not now in your 20s. Now, for me, I will bring a kid into this world when I'm in the position to give that kid my full attention and love that they deserve. And I know right now, as a person who's running and scaling a business, I can't do that for that kid because I'm giving myself and my business that full attention and love to eventually be in the position where I can provide that attention and love for my future kid. I just want to design my life exactly to the T how I want it. And it's just a standard for me that I will not bring a kid in this world unless I can provide for them 100% of the way. The next worst purchase is getting bottle service or getting tables every single fucking weekend at the club. Now look, in no way or form am I saying you cannot have fun, but there is a clear difference between having fun to celebrate life, but there is a clear difference from having that one-off night out versus going out every fucking weekend and blowing the damn bag. And as barbers, we sometimes fall into this harsh cycle because look, we make money every damn day, and mentally, we know that all we gotta do tomorrow is show up to the shop and we can make it all back. This mentality can get a barber into this nasty cycle of just making money to fund their party addiction and nightlife. Look, I'm not telling you to go cold turkey. You should definitely reward yourself with a fun night out, but use it as a reward and just switch it up. Maybe just reward yourself instead of going out every single weekend or even every single night. Spread that out to just 2 nights every quarter of the year. Because yes, we all do need some type of fun, but overindulgence in anything, whether it's partying, drugs, sex, or food, is never good and always requires discipline to reel itself back in. If you want, think of this objectively. Who has the better chance at succeeding in business? Person A, who goes out every chance they get, no limit on their spending just as long as they have it, and is always consistently hungover for work the very next day. Or person B, still likes to have fun, but plans for only maybe 2 times a quarter, if less than that. Let's move on to the next worst purchase a barber can make in their 20s, which is going to be a spouse. Now look, why do most marriages fail? Lack of time and money, typically from the guy. What do most barbers struggle getting more of? Their time and their money. So why would anybody go into a losing battle in their 20s over some fleeting emotions? Now look, women and men peak at different times in their life. Women tend to peak early in their 20s, while men typically peak around 35 to 40 years old. Now, again, let's just think about this objectively. Why would someone in their peak choose to be in a committed relationship, or even worse, married? And when I talk about peak, I mean they have a plethora of potential suitors. Basically, they got hoes. Now, because the majority of my audience is male, I'm just going to speak to all my guys. Just think about this. If a man was in his peak currently, financially, status, spiritual, style, physical, would that man be in a fully locked down, committed relationship? Absolutely fucking not. That man would be hoeing out for sure. And to me, this is always the big question mark when I see somebody getting married in their 20s. Because if a woman peaks in her early 20s, why would she ever decide to get married or locked down in a committed relationship? To me, just looking at this objectively, it kind of screams as insecurity. And anyone who is insecure is going to cause all hell just to be with. And I don't think I would ever want to be legally bound to someone that is highly insecure about themselves. Now, as a man, if you're not even in your peak yet, only making about $4K a month and trying to make someone who is in their peak happy and satisfied while also trying to improve your business, I'll just say how it is. You're playing a game you're always going to lose. Again, women are always going to pick the best suitor. And I hate to say it, you just happen to be that placeholder for the time being until they come across someone else who is better. But just look at everybody you know who's either in a committed relationship or married in their 20s and early 30s, and I'll show you someone who's completely miserable with their current relationship status. Marriage is just business, and that's just a bad purchase in my opinion. The next worst purchase is going to be a barbershop. Now, we're all told as barbers that once we get our clientele built out, the next step for us is to own a barbershop. But if your goal is for financial gain, I personally do not believe that owning a barbershop is the best route for that whatsoever. First, it's very restricted on how much profits you can actually get. There's a shit ton of upkeep, and overall, the majority of barbershop owners are miserable and want to sell their shop and just go back to being a barber. Now, I'm not saying you should never buy a shop, but what I am saying is just pump the brakes and wait on this damn thing for a quick second. Just explore some options. Give it some time to marinate on yourself, okay? okay? And really understand, what am I actually trying to get out of this from owning a shop? Most barbers, again, think it's for financial gain, but in reality, it's some type of ego-based reason that makes no sense whatsoever in business. Now, for financial gain, you want to be able to look and see how much profit you can make while doing as little work as possible, have the business model be simple, and have the ability to scale effortlessly. Barbershops take time because you got to find a good location. They have a shit ton of upfront cost. You got to deal with renovations, upkeep, hire barbers and train them up. All of this just to have a cap limit on how much you can make from that one location until you have to do that whole cycle over again to open up a second location. Now, the next worst purchase is going to be a car. Again, if you're in your 20s and you're a barber, your focus should always be on improving your financial situation. However, many barbers start making some money and they want to flex all of a sudden. And typically, any flex is bad in terms of a financial decision, especially a flex that literally loses value the second you drive it off the lot. I want you to think long-term with this. Don't be thinking short-term with this whatsoever, because it's always hard not to splurge when you finally start making some money. But understand this, just because you can buy the car doesn't mean you should buy the car. Now, let's say you do actually end up buying the damn car. Now you got to deal with the car payment, gas, and car insurance. And from that moment on, you'll never be able to downgrade your car. And there are a lot of barbers who should be downgrading their car this very second. Unfortunately, majority of them won't because of ego-based reasons. So please just try to delay this luxury for later in life, because once you upgrade your car, you'll have a hard time trying to downgrade and come back down to earth after that. Now, the next worst purchase to make as a barber in your 20s is going to be jewelry. Now, for me personally, I think jewelry is a great fashion piece, obviously, but it's a terrible purchase to make as a barber. But when you're a barber who's struggling financially, making under 10K a month with less than 2K in your bank account, yet you're walking around with iced out earrings, iced out necklaces, and watches, at some point in time, you just got your priorities backwards. Now, a good rule I tried to follow as a barber was that if it was more than 10% of what I had in my bank account, I shouldn't buy it. Of course, I broke that rule a few times, and it felt dumb as fuck afterwards. But typically, if you follow that rule, you make smarter decisions. Because think about this. What's the real purpose of the purchase you're about to make? Is it to flex, or is it to progress the business to the next level? Because to me, anything that doesn't progress the business further, that costs 10% more than my savings, is just a flat out no. The next worst purchase a barber can make in their 20s is going to be a mobile van. Now, I had a call with a barber recently that thought that because his business in the shop wasn't going well, that he thought he was in the wrong market and he should buy a mobile van to start doing mobile haircuts. The one thing he forgot, though, is just because he has a van doesn't mean he knows how to run his business all of a sudden, because he still can get new clients, and he was struggling even more after buying the van. Look, a van is not going to solve your business problems. Solving your business problems will solve your business problems. What a concept. Because the majority who are struggling just flat out don't know how to get new clients in the business. Because if you could generate new clients into your business at higher price points, you wouldn't be blaming the shop location, thinking that your skill set is off, or thinking that you need to move to a new city. That's the first problem, and you need to solve that before anything else. Now, I work with barbers to not only help them generate new clients into their business, but also help barbers to scale up to 20K per month. If you want to work with us and have us help you scale your business, you can apply to work with us through the links below. Now, the next worst purchase a barber can make in their 20s is any purchase to try to impress women. Now, as guys, the majority of our decisions come from trying to impress women. And what I don't mean is you have to stop trying shooting your shot or getting women altogether, but do this in your budget, please, because you do not want to waste your long-term money on short-term women. Again, do not get caught up in a game that you can't win yet, because most women have multiple suitors who play their role. And unless you're a weirdo, you probably want a high quality woman. And high quality women typically have a plethora of high quality, mid-tier quality, and low quality men all going for her. Because with Instagram, everyone's accessible. Now, again, have your fun and understand you might not be in that high tier quality yet, but you can work your way up to that quality if you focus on yourself and improve your business, because your goal should be to become a man of high status. And that takes time, because you want to play the game and understand the rules so that down the line, you'll be in a position that favors you as the prize. Down the line, you'll be in a better position than you are right now as a barber who's making $300 a day. Because let's be honest, if it's between you and an NBA dude, you're gonna get blown out the water right now. Now, the last worst purchase is honestly gonna be any and all drug habits. Again, am I saying you gotta be straight edge? No. But when you start seeing yourself spending more than $500 a month and you aren't growing the business month after month, there is a problem. And look, just limit yourself. Preferably cut out all drugs and alcohol for maybe the next 6 months. and just see how much progress you can get and push your business forward.